Creating this fluid effect in SMODE is quite easy. It's just a matter of combining a few simple tricks. I'm starting with a new composition. So I have a timeline and a composition that uses alpha. I create a camera in this composition if I don't have one already. Then I will add a new particle system. So in the 3D layers, particles. I will place it on a black background to see a little better what's happening. The first thing I'm doing is changing the default image that renders my particles. I replaced the blurry PNG image with this.png. Next, in my particle system, I will indicate that the source of my particles is not a point, but rather a sphere. This sphere has a position, determined by its center, and a radius. Therefore, I will set the radius to 0.5 meters. I want to animate the center of emission, which is the center of the sphere. I'll drag that into my timeline. I'm going to give that timeline a duration of 1 second. I press F to focus. I have my input keyframe and my output keyframe. At this point, I will select my particle system and switch to edit mode to move around the sphere on my timeline. So at this time code it's here, and at that moment it's there. You can see the path appearing in the viewport. Now I will define a curve, so I will select my 2 points, my 2 keyframe representation in the viewport. Next, I right-click on one of them and select Set to Bezier. This gives me the little blue helpers to edit my curve. And there you see the path that my particle system will follow. I'm going to select my particle system, then in the emission settings, I'll set the number of particles to 500, lasting for 1 second. Each particle lasts 1 second. That's the animation created. What I'm going to do is place a keyframe in the middle of my timeline. So here, I'm adding a keyframe. I'm changing this one too to Bezier, rotating these 2 points to create that curve. Here is the animation. We might want to pull back the last frame to hide the particle system. Okay, I already have a modifier created, the point attributes. When I select point attributes, I see the edit button that allows me to edit certain attributes of the points over their lifespan. At 0%, it's their birth. At 100%, it's their death. What I want to do is simply say that when they approach their death, they will tend to a size of 0. At their birth, they will each have a size of 2. I go back to my timeline, edit. Here is what I have. I'll select my timeline now and switch it to looping mode to see the movement created continuously. Here, my particle system might be a bit too large, so I will go back to my particle system and in the generator, I will set a radius to 0.1 meter. I'm going to pre-compose this particle system. I select it and press Ctrl-Shift-C to pre-compose my particle system. In this composition, I will add a blur modifier. And on this blur, I will increase the radius size. Now, I will add another modifier, the color function. In this color function, I will check everything, including alpha. After that, in the function, instead of a color level type, I will switch to parametric type, which gives me access to the shape preset here. And I'm changing from linear ramp to square. We are starting to see the effect. Now, I'm simply going to create a 2D layer, gradient. And with this gradient layer, I will first place it below my compo. Instead of a circular gradient, I will switch to linear. I will then rotate it diagonally. Finally, I will change the colors. Here I will define a red like this, and here a pink. I just need to select the compo that contains my particle system and change its blending mode by going to Renderer Blending Mode, Alpha. And voila!